3rd of June, Rabbi Furst, Parsha Hashavua, Shavuos.
Good morning. How are you, Roy? How are you?
Good morning.
Good to see you. How are you, Lou? Everyone did? Okay.
Rabbi Furst, how are you? Good to see you.
Baruch Hashem, fine. Very good. I sent an email. I don't know if you got it. There are a few things we can learn in preparation to Shavuos. Be interesting things to learn together. So if you check your email, you might see something. I'm going to put it on the screen as well. Good morning, Barry. How are you? Okay. Let me put this on the screen.
Oh, yeah, I got it.
Okay, very good, Baruch Hashem. Okay, this is the first thing that's on that you see here. You see on your screen as well, if you like, and you see this is a Yerushalmi right there by the red ball. Yerushalmi. This is something that Rav Steinberg would quote constantly in and on Shavuos. So Yerushalmi. If you like, anyone interested in doing some reading, can go through it together.
If unless Barry wants to read, I'll read.
Go ahead, Lou. Go ahead.
The Yerushalmi Rosh Hashanah in the Jerusalem Talmud. In the book of Rosh Hashanah, on Perek Daled,
Halacha Ches, Perek Daled Halacha Ches.
Halacha Ches, Matzinu Chidush Nifla. We find an innovation. What's Nifla?
An astounding innovation.
Astounding. Oh, like a Pella.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. V'zahal.
And this is a quote.
This is the quote. Rebbe
Misharshia, Rebbe Misharshia Mishem Rebbe Idi. Amar Rev, right? Amar Rebbe Misharshia Mishem Rebbe Idi.
Rebbe Misharshi says in the name of Rebbe Idi, Bechol Hakarbanos Kasiv Chet Uva'atzeres Ein Kasiv Chet. So for all of the sacrifices, it's written sin, and for Shavuos, it's not written sin.
Right. So basically, when the Torah delineates all the different korbanos that are obligated to be brought on the different moedim, on Pesach and Sukkot and Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, right? So there's always some korban which is a corresponding korban for chet. But on Eretz Shavuos, there is no corresponding korban for chet. No chet, no sin. On Shavuos, there's no sin.
But why is it comparing apples and oranges? It's comparing sacrifices to a holiday. Why doesn't it say on all the other holidays it says sin, but on Shavuos it doesn't say sin?
These are the references to the korbanos which are brought on the holidays.
I see.
That's right.
Amar lehen Hakadosh Baruch Hu Mikevan shekib lasam alechem ol Torah. It says to them, he said, Hashem says to them, Mikevan is since,
right, exactly,
since that you accepted upon yourselves the yoke of Torah, ma'ale ani alechem, I elevate you, ki'ilu lo chata sam mi chem, as if you didn't sin. What's mi chem?
all your days.
All your days. I elevate you as if you didn't sin all your days as a reward because you accepted the yoke of Torah.
Right.
Dehayinu Hakadosh Baruch Hu hachashiv es am Yisrael. That it is that Hashem
Considers
the nation of Israel shebikablan shebikablas haTorah, that they have accepted the Torah shehisa Bahar Sinai, as it was on Har Sinai. Shehem hayu lo chet klal, that they did not sin at all. V'zeh I don't know this abbreviation.
Sha'al Yedei.
That this is through Kabbalas HaTorah, the receiving of the Torah, the acceptance of the Torah. V'chol chayuvi umitzavusi
Umitzvoseha.
umitzvoseha,
All its obligations and commandments.
all its obligations and commandments. Kol hachataim nimchakim. All sins nimchakim, I don't know, are established.
Nimchakim are erased. That
Erased.
through the acceptance of the Torah and its obligations and all its commandments, it's considered as if all one's sins, that not only a person individually, but also Klal Yisrael's, all of Klal Yisrael's sins are considered to be erased.
Ulechach b'Shavuos shezeh zaman Kabbalas HaTorah, and therefore with Shavuos, that it is a time of the acceptance of the Torah. Im kain hakar banos lo ba'im lechaper al chataim. Therefore, the offerings do not come to atone for sin. Shaharei.
So that therefore, when the korbanos, the various korbanos which have to be brought on Chag Hashavua, when we had a base of Mikdash and we brought the korbanos, so there was no sin offering that was expected to be brought or commanded to be brought on the Chag of Shavuot, because there were no sins to be atoned for.
Sheharei al yidei Kabbalas HaTorah, that we see that through the acceptance of the Torah, efshar lahagia lematzav shel lihios neki mechet. So through the acceptance of the Torah, it is possible the Hagia to explain,
To reach. Hagia is to reach or
to
achieve.
reach,
Or achieve.
the matzav, the goal,
Situation. Matzav is a situation.
the situation of being cleansed of sin.
Yes.
Afilu yoter mi yom hakippurim, even more than Yom Kippur.
Right. Even more. That's the astounding chiddush that is the Rishami is teaching us here.
How can that be? We do all that tshuva on Yom Kippur.
Because Yom Kippur is there on Yom Kippur there are sins, and the day of Yom Kippur atones for those sins. But on Shavuos there are no sins.
How does that work? What happened? What happened to the sins? I mean, Yom Kippur, we have sins. We ask for mechila, and hopefully we get mechila. But on Shavuos, how does it operate that the sins go away?
It's not. I don't think they just simply don't exist anymore.
This is hard to understand.
Why?
Well, I mean, let's say chas v'sholem, you have somebody who's really, really bad. He did some really bad things.
Right.
And now those things just pop out of existence. I mean,
Well, no, they don't. They simply don't pop out of existence. I mean, there has to be a Kabbalah Satorah. There has to be a Kabbalah, just on Yom Kippur, you have to have a tshuva. So on Shavuos, you have to have a Kabbalah Satorah as well. No, they don't simply go away. Right? That's what he says. Ayidei Kabbalah Satorah, Efshar Legia Matzav Shios Noki Mechet. Through the acceptance of the Torah, it's possible to achieve a situation where a person can be completely clean from all sin. I feel Yosem Yom Kippur, even more than on Yom Kippur.
I guess maybe I don't understand what the idea of this Kabbalah Satorah entails.
Okay.
I know for Yom Kippur, the whole month of Elul, I'm going through my journal and I'm thinking about my actions and what kind of tshuva am I going to do, and I'm doing the tshuva.
Right.
And Rosh Hashanah is a big deal, and then leading up to Yom Kippur, there's the 10 days. There's all the things that we try to do. But for Shavuos, I don't really do very much.
Right. Well, actually, to tell you the truth, you've been even working longer off for Shavuos than you have for Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur, from Rosh Chodesh Elul to Yom Kippur is 40 days, and from the whole time of the Omer, which is the preparation for Shavuos, is actually 49, 50 days. So you actually are involved with more preparation for Shavuos than for Yom Kippur. Correct.
So the Omer process is part of this Kabbalah's Torah?
Yeah, and to a very large extent, that's true, correct.
Ah, okay. So each day of the Omer, we're supposed to be working on our midos.
Mido, everything, not just Midos, but Midos, and primarily we're supposed to be working on Kabbalah Satorah. So we'll try and find out a little bit more about that. Let's see. There's more explanation. Let's see the explanations that are given here. There are commentaries on the Yerushalmi that explain a little bit more in depth about what the Yerushalmi is referring to.
Okay, so the Karban.
Have the first Korban Ada. Korban Ada is one of the primary in the Yerushalmi, the Talmud Yerushalmi. We don't have Rashi and Tosfos, right? So we have other commentaries, and one of them is the Korban Ada, and another one is the Pnei Moshe, which we'll be citing. Both of them will be citing at this point right now.
Okay, so the Korban Ada is the offering of witness.
That's the name of the commentary, Korban Ada.
Oh, this is a commentary. Okay, so the Korban Ada Matzina, we find S Hadvarim Hanal.
Haniskalaal, those words, those things we mentioned above.
Yoter me Furshim, more from the sages.
Yotim, unfortunately, they're more explicit. They're more explicit.
More explicit. Vizal and the sage.
I think the Vizelashon, and quote.
And this is the language. Shebecho shana be'ateres ze kamo hayom she'amadnu Bahar Sinai umekablim me chadash es haTorah. So that every year on Shavuos, it's like the day that we stood at Mount Sinai and received.
Did you manage to take out that jar, that honey jar I gave you the other day?
From Mechadash, from newness, the Torah.
On each year on Shavuos, Zekamo, it's like we are on that day when we stood at Har Sinai, and we're mekablin mechadash esator, and we're receiving the Torah anew, as we did at Har Sinai originally.
Anew. Okay.
Yeah.
Gam bizman hazeh lo sofrim es ha omer the karon ella sofrim kehakana likabel es haTorah pa'am nos.
Nosefis mechadash. Nosefis
mechadash.
Right. That gam bisman hazeh, even in our time, meaning every single year, each and every year, lo sofrin esom, we're not simply counting the Omer lizikoron as a memorial, as a remembrance of a commemoration of what happened. Ela sofrim kehachana lekabel Torah pam nosefis mechadash. Rather, we're counting as a preparation. Kahachana, it's as a preparation, l'kabel Torah, to receive the Torah another new time.
What is nosefis?
Additional. Pam Nosefis, an additional new time.
I see. Okay. All right. So this gets to what we were saying a minute ago, that the
Yeah.
counting the Omer is part of this process.
Exactly, right, very good, exactly.
Ubefanai Moshe.
That's Upanei Moshe. That's another commentary on the Yerushalmi. The name of that commentary is the Panei Moshe.
Ah, okay. So in the Panei Moshe, Hosif Bezer V'zeh Lashon. It adds the following quote: Amar lahem hake
Kadosh Baruch Hu. Amar lehem HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mikevan shekibalsam aleichem ol Torah shenisna be'atzeres lios amal vayiga ba kol tivachechem. So it's say to them, or Hashem says to you,
Meaning Hashem is, so to speak, speaking to Klal Yisrael. Hashem is speaking, right? Hashem is speaking, so to speak, to Klal Yisrael.
since you are receiving upon yourselves the yoke of Torah. What is this? Shinasana?
Shinitne ba'aseres, the all of the Torah which has been given on, or which is given on Atzeres, on Shavuos.
It's
Shinitne
given
from
on
the Sinai.
Shavuos to be immersing yourselves. What is Vayiga?
V'yigia, to put forth efforts, to expend efforts. Amal v'yigia, amal, to endeavor and to put forth efforts in Torah.
In
Kol
it. Kol tzarchechem.
And for whatever is needing, meaning whatever you need to do to understand the Torah, you're willing to put forth all those efforts in order to understand the Torah.
Okay, may Allah ani aleichem keilu lo chata sam michem. I elevate you as if you did not sin all your days. The ein hachata nizkar lifnei
Lifanai.
lifanai lefi she Torah mi chaparas aleichem, and there's no sin that's remembered before me, in order that the Torah.
Well, here the fee, here language because that the Torah mechaperes aleichem.
Because the Torah atones for you.
Right.
Okay, so this is a long quote. I kind of got a little lost. Could you summarize, please?
Right. So the Pnei Moshe, he adds on in a quote. He says, "So says HaKadosh Baruch Hu to Klal Yisrael, since that you mekablas alechem ol Torah, since you were accepting upon yourself the yoke of Torah, the bezeres, which is given each year on Shavuos, that what you shall be endeavor and put forth efforts, all that is necessary, right, to understand the Torah. It's I attribute to you as if it's as if you never sinned at any time in your life. And funny, there's no mention of sin, which is mentioned before me during the Yom Tov of Shavuos, because the Torah is atoning for you.
So, so we've added a second definition of Kabbalas Torah, which is this amal v'yagia ba kol tzarchechem. So we have the Omer, we're counting the Omer, and that's a preparation. And then we are committing ourselves, I guess, to make every effort that is needed to understand.
Correct. That's right. Exactly.
I've got a question and a point. Question is, does this take effect the moment we light candles or or Yom Tov comes in? Is it take effect then, or does it take effect during our davening, or when? That's a question. And the point is, I think it's a point. I learned, I think, that Hashem doesn't actually get rid of all the chetim, all the sins.
Chatoim.
Toim. He puts them away, like sort of in cold storage, where it is forgotten, but they're there if you do if you do something that warrants these sins being brought out against you again. But Hashem forgiving you the sins actually means that he does forget them, so to speak, and he's put them away, out of sight, out of mind.
Right. Okay. So in terms of the first thing is actually when this takes place. So really, it's something which takes place every day. On Shavuos, it's a should be a firm commitment that's made in terms of behaving in this way, to put forth all your efforts to try and understand the Torah, and then it has to be followed up each and every day. Whether it takes place, that commitment, at the beginning of Shavuos by candlelighting or during the rest of the day, it could be for individuals. It could be any time during the whole day of Shavuos. I don't think there's any one particular time, but it's a time which is the whole day is set aside for this commitment to be made. And so some people maybe do it earlier, some maybe do it later. Each one could be individual. Now, in terms of what happens to the chatoim, I'm not sure. It could be that they are here. We're talking about that they were erased. That means that they don't exist. So, as to whether or not that's symbolic that they do exist, but they don't really exist, I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything about that as to what and if anything happens to the sins. So I have to think about that. I'm not sure. Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, so now in terms of that first question you asked, so we have that commitment is made on Shavuos, but then it has to be renewed and refreshed each and every day. As this is the next paragraph, which is now the Vilna.
Lefi ma she nis ba'ar b'Yerushalmi uma she perusho b'devar av yotzei shebechol shana v'shana b'chag ha-Shavuos yesh lanu kabbalas haTorah amitis. So Lefi,
According to
what what's Shanis Ba'ar?
How it's been explained in the Yerushalmi.
According to how it's been explained in the Yerushalmi, and how that it is Sheperusho is also explained, right?
Right, that Masha Pisho B'Devorov, right. Mashin is Var Yerushalmi, that meaning what is explained in the Yerushalmi and what is elaborated is the elaboration of the words of the Yerushalmi. I mean, that was the Pnei Moshe and the Korban Eda.
Okay, Yotze, we accomplish.
Well, Yotzi literally means it comes out, or means there is the summary of what's being said here.
The what?
The summary of what's being
Summary.
said.
Oh, the summary. Okay, it comes out shevachol that each and every year on the holiday of Shavuos, there is for us an acceptance of the Torah amitis. I don't know what that word is.
From the word emes, it's a true Kabbalah Torah, meaning on Shavuos, each and every year it occurs a true Kabbalah Torah each and every year. It's not simply Shavuos is not simply a commemoration of what happened years ago to Klal Yisrael or Har Sinai. It's actual a virtual event which is occurring each and every year, which the Klal Yisrael individually and collectively renew our commitment to the Torah and accept the Torah each and every year anew at this time.
Hagra be'kasav rosh omer ba'anin ol Torah.
So this is the Vilna Gaon. Hagra the Keser Rosh. That's like a small series of points to consider, written by the Talmidim of the Vilna Gaon, and he writes there on the topic of Old Torah. How is the Vilna Gaon's description of the Old HaTorah, the yoke of Torah?
Amar Rabbeinu.
Right. So this is said, meaning Amar, meaning the Vilna Gaon said. The Vilna Gaon said, they're quoting the Vilna Gaon here.
Our rabbi said, Devar menusa kishashim.
Kishiyashkim. It's a davar menusa. It's a tried and tested thing. Kishiyashkim ish baboka, when a person wakes up in the morning.
That when a person wakes up, ish when an ish wakes up baboker in the morning, vayikabel alav b'yom, and he accepts upon himself the day, hahu, this day, ol Torah, the yoke of Torah, be'emes, in truth, ubalev tamim, and in his heart is complete.
I mean, like with a pure heart, he's accepting the yoke of Torah truthfully and with a pure heart.
Hayinu sheyigmor belibo. It is complete in his heart.
He's goymer belibo. He makes a commitment, a decision. He makes a decision in his heart.
Shelo Yishma Lashon Davar, that he won't hear the language of a matter. Velo Yivtal no Shuv Tarda.
Tirda.
Tirda, and he won't. Yiv tal nu is to sin.
He makes he's Gomer Beliboy. He commits himself in his heart. Shelo Yishma L'Shum Davar. He won't listen to anything. V'lo Yibetlenu Shum Tirba, and he won't mimevato. He won't forsake his learning. Shum Tirda, for any distraction or any involvement.
Tirda is involvement.
Tirda is something which is a distraction, a disruption.
Okay, so he won't listen to anything, and he won't forsake, and there'll be no disruption.
Right.
As Yisuru Mimenu Habit Olim Uvadai Yatz Liach V'yom Hahu. This is tough. Then so he thinks.
Okay. So again, if when a person wakes up, he accepts upon himself that day the all of Torah, the yoke of Torah, truthfully and with a pure heart. And what does that mean? That he makes a full commitment that he's not going to listen to anything, and he's not going to be involved with anything that's creating a disruption in his learning. He won't listen to anything and won't be involved with anything that's going to cause a disruption to his learning. This is his commitment every day. So then or consequently, Yisuru Mimenu Abetoilin. And then consequently they will remove from him those things which will be disruptions and distractions to his learning.
Who's the they?
The angels.
Okay, so they
With
won't
the
remove.
commitment that a person makes in the morning, he creates angels which are going to assist him in remaining free from distractions and disruptions in his learning.
Okay, so the word havitolim is the disruptions,
Yeah, that's right.
and the word uvivadai.
That's definitely uvivadai yatzliach, and without a doubt, or definitely, he'll be successful. Yatzliach, he'll definitely be successful.
On that day.
Right.
The Torah, in the Torah, v'chapei tokef kablas haTorah. I don't know what this word cafe is.
Right. According to the tokef, the strength, according to the strength.
According to the strength. And what is tokef?
That's tokef is strength. Kafi, according to tokef, according to the strength
of the acceptance of the Torah, in the morning, ukafi, and according to chizok, which is another word for strength, right?
Right, exactly, right.
The strength sa gipkama,
That should be haskama, haskama, the commitment.
the commitment. Khan, this commitment, Yazarhu Hashem.
Actually, Chaim Yazruhu Hashem also Hayom. Chaim means so. Yazruhu Hashem will help him. Yazruhu from help. Cain so Hashem will help him both Hayom on that day.
V'chein Yesuru hatardos mimenu, and so I forgot what Yasuru is.
To remove, he will be removed.
And so to remove hatardos mimenu. Tardos is his difficulties.
The distractions, the disruptions.
The distractions from him.
Right. So he says, so just to recap the last sentence here. So he says, if a person's going to make this commitment, they'll definitely, he'll definitely be successful in Torah that day. And according to the strength of his accepting the Torah, the boker in the morning, and according to the determination of his commitment, Cain, so Hashem will correspondingly help him on that day and will remove from him all distractions.
Okay, so this is an everyday thing according to the Gra.
That's right. That's
What
right.
does this have to do with Shavuos?
Because this is again, as we said, Kabbalah Torah is not just one time during the year on Shavuos. It's an ongoing thing. It's a commitment which we try and crystallize and focus on Shavuos, but actually the true Kabbalah Torah takes place every day. That's one of the reasons why they say that Shavuos doesn't have a date. If you look in the Chumash, right, you see that Pesach has a date. That's meaning Tesvav of Nisan. Rosh Hashanah has a date. That's Aleph Tishrei. Sukkot has a date. That's Tesvav Tishrei. Yom Kippur has a date. That's Yud Tishrei. But you look on Shavuos, Shavuos does not have a date. So one of the explanations is why the Torah never placed a date on Shavuos, because in fact the accepting of the Torah, Kabbalah Torah, is an ongoing process throughout every day of the year.
Right.
Okay. Let's see. I want to skip to the second page. We'll leave the Mesiras Yesharim for another time. Let's see here. This is a Mishnah Avos. Yeah.
Okay. Mishnah Meseches Avos Perech Vav. Mishnah Bet. Amar Rebbe Yehoshua ben Levi. B'chol Yom V'Yom Bas Kol Yotz As Mehar Chorav. Chorev. Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi says each and every day, a heavenly voice emanates from Mount Sinai. Ume chorzas ve'omras oi lahem, and it proclaims woe to them,
right. Right.
Livrios ma'al levona shel Torah. Woe to them that livrios, I don't know.
To the people, it's woe to people, woe to those people, woe to those people.
To those people, ma'al vona, levona, is that like to whiten?
That's that. Excuse me.
To whiten?
No, this is with an I. The ayin is more important. The malvono shel Torah for the disgrace of the shame of the Torah, for the shame of the Torah.
Woe to the people that bring shame to the Torah.
Right. It actually has to do with, it has to do a little bit being white as well, because when a person's shamed, he's embarrassed, his face turns white. So it has a little bit to do with white also.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so every day there's a heavenly voice that proclaims woe to the people who disgrace the Torah.
That's right. Woe to the people that bring disgrace to the Torah. That's right, every day. And it comes out from Har Sinai, which is here is referring to as Har Chorim.
Right. So this is kind of coming out of left field. It's not, I mean, okay, so what?
Okay, we'll see. Hold on to your hats.
Okay, so
So
Sefer
now we have the Sefer Ruach Chaim.
Ruach Chaim.
This is Sefer Ruach Chaim from Rav Chaim Volozhin. This is Rav Chaim Volozhin. He was happened to be a Talmud of the Vilna Gaon.
Okay.
And so you
Is this
see, it
Arizal?
says there, under the, no, this is Amar Rebbe Yeshua ben Levi. This is a quote
Oh,
that
this
we
is the same
quoted above.
person? Yeah, this is the same person.
Yeah.
Says Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, B'chol yom v'yom bas kol yotz as me har chorev. Okay, this is our quote. Ki
Amr Chazal, ki Amr Chazal.
Amar Chazal, since the sages said,
Right, that's in the Gemara in Shabbos, stuff Pei Tes Amid Beis.
right, Hashem Shemos.
That's actually, this is actually Hey. This is Hey Shmos. There are 5 names, Yeshlo. Meaning Har Sinai has 5 different names.
There are 5 names, Shel Yesh Lo Kule. There are 5 names for Har Sinai. Amar Rebbe Abahu, Har Sinai, Shemo. Har Sinai is its name. Mount Sinai is its name.
Right.
Ulama Nikra Shemo Har Chorev. And that which it is called, its name is called Mount Chorev.
Actually, Lamed, why is it called one of its names Har Chorev? Why should that be one of its names?
Why should it be called Har Chorev?
Yeah, Chorev actually means destruction, right? Chorev is destruction.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So that book by Shimshon Raphael Hirsch that's called Chorev, it means destruction?
Yeah, I guess so.
So what does Sinai mean?
Sinai, that could mean from the word Sina, from Sinas Chinam, like hatred.
Mhm.
Oy.
Yeah.
Sirda.
So it says Lama Nikra Shemo Har Chorev. Why is it called? It's one of the names of Har Sinai, Har Chorev, the mountain of destruction. Why? She yarda chorva la'oived galilim bisman matan Torah, right? That it came down, yared, it came down, chorba, it came down destruction, la'oived galilim, it came down destruction for the non-Jews bisman matan Torah, at the time of the giving of the Torah.
The Ovdei Galulim is the non-Jews.
Yes, that's right.
What does that mean literally? The doers of Galulim.
It means literally the Galila idols, those who worship idols.
The worshippers of idols at the time of the giving of the Torah. So destruction was brought to the idol worshippers at the time of the giving of the Torah. Al shalo ratzo lekabla. Concerning that they did not want to accept it.
Right, since we'll see, since the Kadosh Baruch Hu offered the Torah to the non-Jews, and they didn't want to accept the Torah, therefore destruction came to them through that, and they therefore it's called Har HaChoreb. It's called the mountain of destruction.
V'im kain kol shekain.
Chas v'sholem, kol shekein chas v'sholem.
Chas v'sholem. So therefore, how much more so, heaven forbid, kishe'ein Yisrael mekayim min ma shekiblu. How much more so that if the Bnei Yisrael don't accept what is offered.
Right. Right. So since with the Goyim it came destruction to them because they didn't accept the Torah when it was offered to them at Har Sinai. So even more so, Has v'Sholom, when Klal Yisrael will not fulfill what they in fact accepted, it's even going to be worse. Has v'Sholom.
Ulechach Amar. What?
I think that should be a nun sofit ulechein, and therefore.
Ulechein, and therefore Amar Khan. It says here, Mehar Chorev, from Har Chorev, V'hana Bidornu.
Bidorenu, and we see now in our generation.
We see in our generation, Ze Rav Hamon Porshim, that this is there's abundant. I don't know what Hahamon is.
That in our generation, Ze Rav Hamon, there are many Mahamon from the common people. Hamon is the common people. Porshim, the Porshim Minatorah, they separate themselves from the Torah, meaning, or they disassociate themselves from the Torah.
So I see. Min HaTorah, they separate from the Torah. Al Yudei Ta'anos, through Ta'anos is I don't know what Ta'anos is.
That with a claim, we see in our generation that many of the common people disassociate themselves from the Torah through a claim, Tainos Tirdas Apanasa, the distractions that they have because of trying to make a living.
Okay, so they say I can't follow the Torah. It's too hard. It's too hard because I have to make a living.
Right.
Aval
Be'emes.
b'mes halo ze haya gam ta'anos. But in truth, this is not a claim.
It's like this. It's like a rhetorical question. Avo be'emes halo ze yegam tainos ovek gililim be'es matan Torah. Aval, in truth, however, in truth, was this not gam also tainos the claim of the goyim at the time of Matan Torah?
Oh, the goyim claimed it's too hard because of Parnasa.
You'll see. Continue. We'll consider. You'll see in a minute. Hold on.
Shelo kiblu es haTorah, that they did not receive the Torah. Ayin ki haisa misan gadas.
Right, Miss Nagedis. It was opposed, or it was
Like misnagid.
yeah, right. It was
So yan, what's yan?
they claimed Kiyan. They claimed Ki Haisa Miss Nagedis Parnosam. They claimed that it was opposing their parnasa. It was making it difficult for them to make a parnasa. They claimed that when the Torah was offered to them at Har Sinai, they couldn't accept it because it was making it difficult for them to earn a living, to make a parnasa.
Isor ha-retzicha uke.
Because it's Kedoima, because because they, like the Medrash says, Kadosh Baruch Hu came to Edom, to Esav, and he said, "Do you want to makabel the Torah?" He said, "My ksiva, what is it written in the Torah?" So Kadosh Baruch Hu said to him, "Lo tzirtzach, you shall not kill." So Esav said, "I'm sorry, that's how I make my living. I can't accept the Torah." Kadosh Baruch Hu went to Yishmael. And he said, "Do you want to?" Hashem said to Yishmael, offering him the Torah, "Do you want to accept the Torah?" He says, "What is it, my ksiba? What does it say in the Torah?" He says, "Lo signoi, don't steal." He says, "I'm sorry, that's my parnasa."
I'm not too sure whether we should go now because Rabbi Levitt is on at 10:30. Is that right?
Yeah, we gotta go. You're right.
Okay,
It's late.
very good. All right, everyone should have a good Erev Shabbos and a good Yom Tov. I guess we'll see all of us on. I guess after Yom Sheni, if everyone's going to be available.
Right. Before we go, what are the other three names of Mount Sinai?
I'd have to look it up, and I have to refresh my memory. Yeah. Okay.
All right, then. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Rabbi. So normal
Very good.
schedule on Tuesday then.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Be'ezras Hashem.
Good Shabbos and good Yom Tov to you and your family and to everybody.
Amen. Thank you. Yechiel. Thank you, Roy. Thank you, Barry. Thank you, Lou. Be well.
Okay, thank you,
Good
Rabbi.
Shabbos. Good Yom Tov.
All right. Yechiel, we're going to Rabbi Levitt now.
Yes.
Yes.